Here I'm like thinking, we're gonna go right as soon as it hits. Okay.
Oh, no, yeah. I'll edit all this out. Well, actually, probably not. I usually leave most of the, like, natural intro in there without, like, diving into it. But...
Like a pre-opener.
Like a pre-opener, exactly.
Pre-opener.
That's exactly it. Okay, hi.
Hello.
How are you today?
Doing well. Doing well.
Welcome to Books and Babble, episode 11,
Yes.
I think. So,
Yes. Coming to you live from the kitchen.
live from the... Thank God this isn't live. Could you imagine?
Oh my gosh.
The amount of, like, edits and stuff. Yeah.
That would be crazy.
Do you want to play a game?
Oh, yes, yes.
Let's play a game. Okay, we're going to play a game where I'm going to pick a book from the bookshelf and I'm going to show you guys so you know what book I picked. But G is not going to know, and I'm going to then describe the book to her, but only using 5 words. Not full sentences, not just 5 words.
So it will be almost like what we did last time, but instead of you're saying the keywords and I have to guess the book.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. I think it's going to be hard.
I think this is really going to be difficult. Okay.
Do you want to go first, or do you want me to go first?
I'll go first.
Okay.
I'll go first because I'm nervous about it. So
Okay.
do you want me to pick then, or you're going to go ahead and pick?
You want me to pick then?
Yeah, let's get this over. Otherwise, I'm going to be like
No,
so
if you,
nervous.
no, you don't. If you're nervous about it, we don't have to play.
Oh, no,
We can-
I'm
we
good.
can come
I
up with
want to
something
play.
else.
Okay.
Okay.
Head down, thumb up. How did you play 7-Up? Head down, thumb up? Like,
Heads down. Yeah, heads down, thumbs up.
but how does it end?
Well, I think they just say like, oh, rise, you know, or something. Okay, let's see. Okay. Sorry, I had to do something real quick. I don't know, it's been a long time since I played that. Okay, I got one. Let me show them real quick. Okay, this is the book that I picked. Okay, I am gonna hide it. I love how okay, you can get up now. I love how like the pantry has become our like hidden area for our books when we play games. Okay, so ready?
Yes.
5 words to describe this book.
Okay.
I think this might be easy. I think I picked an easy one.
Okay.
So let's see. Frightening.
Can I ask questions?
Do you already have a question?
Okay, no. Go ahead. Well, yeah, in a way. Okay, no,
what?
you keep going. Okay, so
sorry.
frightening.
Frightening,
Mm-hmm.
interesting, lingering. Standalone.
Okay.
That's a hint.
Yeah.
And see, this part's hard too. Fascinating, I guess.
But there could be so many books. I need detail. Like a key word of the book.
Like
it's
a
a
book.
descriptive word of the book.
So
Because it's
a standalone.
terrifying. Standalone.
Yeah, that lingers.
Lingers with you. So it's but like more of the book.
Okay.
Like,
what's a book that we both think is terrifying? That's a standalone.
do I have it?
Like the physical copy?
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't think so, actually.
Because that will give it to me if I have it or not. Maybe not, because we have read, like, we do, I don't have a horror section because I'm not a horror person. I'm a wimp. But you have gotten me to listen to some as you read. Mm-hmm. And we, like, do that. Yeah. And so I will listen to them.
Right.
And some of them are just completely terrifying. But there is the one is the chain.
Yes, it's the chain. So I was hoping that you'd get it with one, the standalone, and also
Yeah.
two, lingering, because I think every time we talk about the chain, we talk about how it always lingers. Like
Yeah, the concept is
the
so
concept
crazy.
stays with you for so long because it's so creepy and it's so good.
Yes. Okay. My turn then.
Yeah, your turn. That was hard. Okay, I thought this game, the hard part was going to be the person who has to guess it, but the hard part was also trying to come up with the 5 words that would describe the book enough to where it stands out.
Okay, I got one.
Okay, my head's down.
All right. This is it. And I'll put it in the food book / folder.
Okay.
When you go, we don't want to forget your other book in there.
Okay. I know, could you imagine that? You guys go into the pantry later, it's like, oh.
There's book in
Okay. All right.
All right. So 5 keywords.
Yeah.
Female, main character,
Okay.
magic,
Okay.
trauma,
Okay.
strength, and it is
Daughter of No Worlds.
Yes. Nice.
Yes.
Nice. I figured the trauma would
The
help.
trauma, that's the one where I was like, okay.
You knew.
Yeah, because female magic, I was like, okay, that could be like easily 4 or 5 right off the
Oh,
bat.
yeah.
So,
But
the
I
trauma
feel like
one,
that out of all the books, like she deals with trauma more than so many other ones, and yeah.
Yeah, and the strength too, because like that went along with the trauma storyline, because a lot of like, not a lot, but a portion of that storyline in that book was her, escaping from what the situation that she was in, and then dealing with that stuff after the fact, and so that had so the strength and the trauma, those were the 2 words. I was like, okay, when you said trauma, I was like, I think it's Daughter of No Worlds, but then when you said strength, I was like, oh yeah, that's got to be it.
It's a good one.
That's a good read. Yeah.
Very good read. And I'm excited because she's coming out with another one. So I'm excited.
Interesting. Yeah, we'll have to check it out.
Yeah, because I don't know, and it could be it's in a man's point of view, it looks like. So I don't know which one it's going to be from. So anyway, I'm excited for that.
Yeah.
Which I thought it was going to be from, and I forgot his name, his one character, but then you thought it could be from the other character you brought out, which would be good too. So I'm not sure. Max, yeah. Max
didn't know such a good character.
He is a good character, but we already know his backstory.
We do.
And you hear more of his backstory in the 3rd book. And so I'm wondering if it's the other one, the younger one that went out.
Oh, yes. Because that's a character that I really liked, where I really was hoping that one of the books would be in his perspective. Because I was like, I just think it was so interesting. Because then everybody was like, oh my God, everybody was like so rude to him too, where I was like, where he was just like following in the footsteps, and everyone was like, no, don't do that. And I was like, no, he's trying his hardest, guys. Like, oh my God, give him a break. Like, he's such a good guy. And I think that he was going to do great things. And so that would be, I would really like it to be in his perspective.
Yeah, so I'm curious to see. So it's either going to be, it looks like it's either going to be one of those 2. I'm going to have to check it up and see. Moth. Yeah. Check it up and see which one it's going to be in that perspective, because I have to have it.
It's such a great character too, because he's so klutzy. Like, he's just trying his hardest, and it's just sometimes your hardest isn't good enough, and that's okay. And he made it work, and I really liked his character. So I hope we get to hear from his perspective. That's what I'm hoping. Although I love Max. He was a great character.
Oh yeah. He was good. Grumpy at first. I thought he was an old man at first.
Oh yeah, we both thought that. Yeah. There was the author did not describe his age at all.
I know.
But the way that he was described at first made it sound like he was an old man, because he was grumpy,
retired from it,
living by himself in this little area away from everyone else. And he totally sounded like an older gentleman. And then when you found out he's like close to the same age as her, it was like, oh wait, what?
Yeah,
you're not 80?
I know, and it made everything a lot better. So I don't do age gap.
Yeah.
It's not my
thing. That's not our thing. Yeah.
No, I will DNF a book. fast. Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Let's talk about it.
Yes, we have so much to talk about. We have so much to talk about with this because I don't even know where to start. So we read chapters 6 to 12.
Yes. And now they're corpse hunting or shopping.
Yeah.
I forgot
which is
what
like,
they called it.
Yeah, corpse shopping, I think.
Yeah.
And that's super creepy. It got really dark. Or not really, really dark, but it did get darker than the first one.
Yes.
And which I'm excited about because I really enjoyed I really enjoyed it.
Darker,
this is
yes.
Yes, go darker, let's go. Like, I was so excited. They literally, like, there was a riot basically when they found out they were waiting for food. And then they ran out of food, and then everybody like freaked out, and that was a whole like crazy scene. There was they literally dead bodies, like so many dead bodies, like they were doing the corpse shopping. At one point there was
rats
everywhere. I was gonna say there was like one little part where it was like a journal entry that like that was literally like 3 or 4 sentences, and it literally was just like him and Julie walking. And they're just like, oh, there's a dead guy. And then that was it. I was like, wait. I was like, they literally just put this like tiny. I was like, wait, so what? I was like, so they're just like used to dead bodies, I feel like, at this point, where they're just like, oh, there's a dead body. And then they just kept walking. And I was like, oh, okay, oh my gosh. Okay, I was going to switch topics. So if you have anything else to add.
Yeah, I feel like by her doing that, like Julie is growing up, and by seeing the dead bodies, like at that point he was like, I was going to tell her to turn around, but what's the use?
Right.
So
yeah, which like thank goodness, because like it's the end of the world, like everyone's gonna have to see stuff and deal with that, like it doesn't mean anything to it honestly makes it worse if you try and hide it from somebody, because then they just don't, because then it's like they take longer to process, because it's like if right off the bat of the situation Julie's used to dead bodies and stuff, then it's better in the long run that she's already used to it, because then when things get worse down the line, she's already like got part, like I don't know. So that whole thing, which we talked about last week, about how we didn't think that it was a good idea to like not let somebody like know the truth or deal with something just because you're afraid that they're not gonna be able to deal with it well, or you're afraid that, you know, you don't want them to have to deal with it. It's like, well, that's just burden of life, like you know, stuff happens. So but I think that so I loved the darker pieces, the corpse shopping, all of that, super interesting. And Kevin made more of an appearance in this section. Yes. Very interesting. They went corpse shopping with him. Me too.
He's not been a friend, but he's like, I have this stuff, I'm not worried about it, let me help you out. Yeah, absolutely. And I thought it was super funny how I think this happened in the first 6 chapters, where when Alex's best friend was like, hey, I'm leaving, but I'm gonna leave you Kevin, and he was like, Kevin, like, oh, like, I'm like, okay, you're too good for Kevin, like, don't know why you're acting like that. He wasn't even his best friend, he was competing against like president.
Well, yeah, but
yeah, so they were kind of like rivals, but they were like, exactly. True. And I love that, how he's like, well, I'll leave you Kevin, and it's like, okay.
Yeah, our character was like, okay, like.
But I feel like Kevin is the ultimate very kind person. You feel bad, like his mother is drinking, his dad doesn't give a flying F because he's doing stuff, or so he looks at it in his point of view. His dad doesn't care. Because I think at one point he said that's how you know if somebody cares about you, is if you leave or not. So I totally agree. I think Kevin's such a great character. I like that there's another character in the book, and I like that Alex has like somebody to talk to. And I think it's funny though that like we're getting a lot of information about just like worldly things that are happening through Kevin. And like that's how our character is finding out, you know, about the volcanoes and the earthquakes and stuff. Like it's all through Kevin, which I think is super funny. Yeah. And although I will say Alex himself leaving a little bit of a sour taste in my mouth. Yeah. Like I don't like how much he's on Julie. Yeah. I think she's younger and he is not having anything for. I feel like he's taking on the male role in this a lot, for his like I'm not cooking.
I'm not
cleaning.
cleaning.
You do that. You do that. You do
He
that.
would-
And I really, that part is like irritating. I get that he's getting the food and he's body shopping. So now he has things to do. But I feel like the disrespect as far as that goes. And I understand like he has anger issues that he's trying to deal with and trying not to hit his sister and stuff like that. So yeah, and then threaten not to feed her.
Exactly. I was gonna bring that up. Like, absolutely insane. Like, she's doing your laundry, which, like, first off, like, do yourself.
Yeah.
She's doing your laundry and you're gonna complain that it's not good enough when it's like she's literally hand washing it. So like maybe just be grateful that somebody gave an effort to clean your clothes since you're too lazy to do it yourself. And then he's gonna like threaten to take her food away. I'm like, what is wrong with you? And then there was another part too where he was just fussy with her for no reason, and she was like, oh well, what's wrong? And he's like, I'm just dealing with stuff. And she goes, well, well, can you tell me about it? Like, maybe I can help. And he's like, no, I have to deal with it on my own. It's like, what is wrong? Like, okay, like, can you stop being like such a, like, I was just like, I saw
very self-righteous. I feel like
yeah,
it is definitely, that's what I find the egg factor is like, yeah. You do the women's chores and stuff.
Yeah.
And I get like he's doing the body stuff, but I feel like this picked up before he started doing all that.
Oh yeah.
It was like, yeah.
I think at first I was really into the fact that I think when the book started, I liked him better than Miranda. Beginning of book Miranda and beginning of book Alex, I liked beginning of book Alex because I was like, okay, he seems mature. He's like got a job. He's immediately like helping take care of the family. He's stepping into like this parental role because the parents are gone and he's helping out his siblings and all that. And then it turned into like, now he's just like seems like a whiny kid with anger problems who's like who's taking them out on his little sister, who like of course like doesn't deserve it, and like he knows he's doing it too, where he like immediately apologizes afterward. He's like, well, I'm sorry, I'm just dealing with stuff. It's like, okay, but so is she. Like, what are you talking about? Like, everybody's going through the same stuff. Like,
right. Yep.
Like, just so frustrating. And so I definitely at this point I'm just like not a huge fan of him. Yeah. I don't want to say I hate him, but
I know I'm
kind of starting to not like him very much.
Same, because I feel like, the way he's handling it and the way his sister, like, oh gosh, I just don't, like, I feel like when we saw Miranda grow, she grew more accepting of everybody else and herself, and she looked at her family more, and I feel like I feel like he's doing kind of like going the opposite. I feel like the younger sister is the one kind of maturing more, and he is the one like beating down. And I feel like his friend, Kevin is the one that's stepping up. Yeah, absolutely. So.
I totally agree. And I think with Miranda, the problem, at least with Miranda in the first book, it was the things that drove me like just so frustrating with her. Was that she would do things that were immature, but the things that she would do that were immature was she'd whine that she wanted to go ice skating, or she'd eat the chocolate chips, or whatever. But Alex literally is like, oh, I want to beat up my sister, and like, I'm gonna not feed you, I'm gonna not let you eat. Like, what the heck? Oh my, like, there's so much worse. Like, at least Miranda was acting like a normal teenager would. Like, oh, I ate the chocolate chips, like, oh, I was selfish, I want to go skating, whatever. Alex is being like very, very problematic. Like, very problematic. So I'm just not a fan at this point. I'm glad. Oh, I haven't talked about this yet. Bree came back.
Oh yeah, Bree came back.
Yeah, which I'm very excited about, because we were saying that we hoped that we would learn more about her and what she's been going through.
Well, I was very untrusting of the farm. Like, you just sent her off, and I feel like you're just taking word of where you're sending her and that she would be okay. Yeah. And that's where I would have the problem sending my child away, not knowing exactly where the end is going to be. Yeah. Whether they were, actually going to end up there. But no, so luckily she ended up there, and now she's back, but she's sick. Yep, she's got asthma, which I think is going to be, I mean, obviously it's got to be like a pretty big problem, right? Because like, I mean, the air quality already, it's like they're already so far into the story where
it's gray all the time, just like it was with the first book. So
Yeah.
And as we know with the first book, that doesn't ever go away. That's a problem that they deal with for the entire book. So that, yeah, her, and the fact that like the medicine, like the inhaler itself, she had one when she got back home. She already had an inhaler, but once that runs out, I'm like, where are they gonna get it? Like the food and medicine are already starting to get scarce. So I'm like, that I think is gonna be a problem. So that's my prediction. I think that eventually she's gonna need an inhaler, and she's just not. They're just not gonna have one.
Yeah.
And like that's definitely gonna be an issue later on. So that's really interesting. I am really glad that she's back because I think that Julie, who has been stepping up, who has been more mature, I think it'll be great for her to have like somebody else in the house other than like rude, mean Alex. So I'm excited that like there's somebody else there to kind of help figure everything out. And at this point, they haven't really said it, but I mean, the parents are dead, right? Like, the mom hasn't come back. They haven't heard from her, even though the phones are working. So we know.
Yeah, they've been sporadic because he was able to call the sister.
The sister, So we know that if the mom was alive, she would have had many opportunities to at least call them, and she hasn't. So it's pretty clear that the mom's probably dead. The dad, obviously, they haven't heard anything else about the dad, but we know from, you know, in the first few chapters, we find out that where he was at was totally wiped out. So, I mean, basically, I don't think, at first I thought, oh, well, maybe one of the parents will come back at some point. But at this point in the book, we're 2/3 of the way through. We only have one more third to go, and I don't think they're coming back.
No.
I think it's safe to say that,
they're
like,
gone.
they're gone.
Yeah. I would say too.
Yeah. Which I will say is a very interesting thing because in the first book, they spent a lot of time talking about, you know, Miranda was always saying like, oh, hopefully there's a letter from Dad at the post office. And because she wanted to know about Dad and Lisa and the baby. But it is interesting that in this book, past the first couple chapters, they basically just stop looking. They stop like hoping for, I mean, they don't, at that point, they're just kind of like, well, they're gone, basically. So I think that that's really interesting because in the first book, it was constantly like, oh, I want to hear from my family. I want to hear from my family. I want to hear from my family. Whereas this one, it's like, oh, yeah, he goes and he looks for the mom at the stadium and he does call the hospital first, but then it's like after that, it's like, they're probably just gone, which is really interesting that it's like it seems like at this point they've just kind of accepted that there's not going to be any future communication. So they're not waiting to like hear from anybody. They don't really have any communication with anybody outside of just them. So that I think is really interesting. So I don't know where it's going to go. I'm very curious to see because it could be, I mean, there's only a third of the book left. So,
and I'm making a prediction for the next book. It goes back in Miranda's point of view. And I wonder if these two characters are going to meet in the future. And that's why she's doing one book, and then maybe the next book. Like, we know there's 2 more in the series after this. So I'm wondering if they do meet up. I don't know.
Okay.
So
interesting. That'll be really, because I don't remember.
Because they're right around the same age. So.
Yeah, that'll be really interesting. Huh.
Yeah.
I didn't consider that. I wonder if they will meet. Alex and Miranda.
But right now he's got shit up.
Yeah.
So. Hopefully he does a lot of growing up through this, which. Yeah.
He might not.
No.
It could just be maybe that's how he is. And if so, I think Julie and Bree need to say, all right, we're moving.
We're leaving you.
We're leaving you. You can go be by yourself then.
Yeah. I am curious to see. Start doing your own laundry. Cooking dishes and
like
not
so annoying.
Put it on other people. But like I said, he is corpse hunting, like shopping, they call it. and going through that and standing in line and trading in goods. Like, so I understand he is doing his fair share of work.
But so is she. Like, she was tending the garden and everything.
Yeah,
and like she was required to do work too, just like he was. So, and then she had to come home and she was required to do all the house stuff while he didn't have to do anything. And then he even had the audacity too. There was another time where he came home, and of course he was just like typical Alex, like in some kind of angry mood. And he came home, and because he was hungry, and he came home and she hadn't made anything for breakfast, and he would like snapped at her and was like, well, why isn't the breakfast ready? Like, where are the eggs? And she was like, oh, well, we were waiting, so we were worried about you, like we didn't know where you were. And because he had left when they were sleeping, and he was like, no, I'm fine. Like, can you make breakfast now? I was like, snapped at her. I was just like, and he was angry because she didn't have breakfast ready on the table for when he got home. I'm like, where do you think you're at? Like, what? You left in the middle of you left early in the morning while they were sleeping, and they were worried about you, and you come home and you're angry because they were worried about you. And they didn't have breakfast ready. I was like, go make your own eggs. I was like, oh my God, this guy's so
when he took his sister to drop her off and get rid of her, and then he came back, and Julie's like, I thought you were gone. You left me. Don't ever leave me again. And he was just like, shut up, go. We're not dealing with
Didn't want to deal with her.
Yeah. And it's like, she has emotions. You need to learn to deal with that.
Oh
and
my
I
gosh.
get he's a teenager, and maybe that's part of it. Maybe she's showing that he is a teenager and not able to handle dealing with those other people's emotions.
Maybe.
So, I don't know.
Maybe.
But
yeah, that's fair.
So, yeah. So next week,
we're finishing it. Yeah, we're finishing it.
And I'm excited.
Yeah, me too. I'm excited because we're either going to be done with Alex, which, like, good riddance, or or he's going to grow up. So we'll see what happens in the last little bit. So
yeah, definitely.
At least Bree's back. So
yeah, we're excited for that. So we'll finish this up next week, and we hope you're enjoying it too as much as we are, because I'm enjoying this series. I think it's a lot of fun.
Oh yeah, for sure. Yeah, it's been a good read. So do you have anything else?
I don't think so.
Okay,
I think we're good.
All right, well, that is another Babble about books.
Yes.
Okay, there it is. I'm excited to read this one. I might have to
I know. It looks so cute. It's a cute short read.
So cute. I might have to take a little break because I'm still reading A Darker Shade of Magic and The Bright Sword.